car guys, there's nothing hotter than a hot wagon, and there's no hot wagon hotter than a Volvo wagon, which is why I'm here in the V60 Polestar, which is the hottest wagon of them all. And it has a heated steering wheel, which is perfect for these frigid conditions. God, it's freezing in Sweden right now. Ugh. Volvo's cars are conceived in a brutal place. It's cold, often dark, and has treacherous mountain roads. Because of that, it's a company obsessed with comfort and safety. Its cars are luxuriously appointed and exquisitely crafted, and lately, really, really beautiful. The Polestar badge on this Volvo wagon means it's a sporty version. Think of it like an AMG badge. Like Mercedes sub-brand, Polestar started out as an independent touring car race team. The name Polestar was chosen as a nod to the pole stars visible from Sweden's frozen north, and as a play on words to the term pole position. Mind you, I think it sounds like a television show. Polestar, the search for Sweden's hottest stripper. Shortly after Volvo announced this wagon, it bought the street car division of Polestar. The racing division was spun off and renamed, and since it's no longer a race team, we could be cynics and say that Polestar has been reduced to barely more than a marketing-driven branding exercise. But by that logic, so has AMG, and BMW's M for that matter too. And many of our favorite cars wear those badges, so ultimately, who cares if it goes racing or not? The Polestar has something like 70 modifications versus a regular 6-cylinder V60, including springs that are 80% stiffer, adjustable Öhlins shocks, a carbon fiber strut tower brace, and an active exhaust. It also has Brembo 4-piston calipers up front. It wears Michelin Pilot Super Sports wrapped around the most gorgeous 20-inch wheels you've ever seen. That are not on this car. This car has the optional 19-inch winter wheels. It wears Pirelli Soda Zero snow tires. Why? Because it's winter in Sweden. Adding a ton of performance to that recipe makes for a car that's appealing in so many ways beyond just skid pad grip and 0 to 60 times. Besides, look at this place. How could we not come all the way here and show you why we love this car? Polestar made a bunch of modifications to the straight six that you can get in a regular V60. They threw a different intercooler on it and also a twin-scroll turbo. That boosts output to 345 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. That's good for a 5-second flat 0 to 60. Let me show you what that looks like. Ready, and... Alright, so maybe it takes a little bit longer in the snow, but 5 seconds flat makes this the third fastest wagon we've ever tested, ever. It's behind the Mercedes AMG E-Class wagons and the Cadillac CTS-V wagon, all of which have V8s. Sadly, you can't get the Polestar with a stick shift. It comes only with a 6-speed automatic, and it's an old automatic with widely spaced ratios and paddles that don't exactly respond quickly. The worst part about it is that it doesn't blip the throttle on downshifts, so it basically just slams it into a lower gear. That can send the car sideways if you're in the middle of a corner, which we can just use to our advantage. Balance is really good. You can get it sideways on the way into a corner and then just feed in power, and it sends enough power to the back to hold the drift. It wants to pull itself straight, but you can fight it. hole. There we go, get the car sideways and slight correction. It's really predictable and I like that a lot. It's probably important given the big drops off the mountain roads in Sweden. The ride is stiff, but not bad considering it's got springs that are 80% stiffer than stock. And there's pretty much nothing you can do to upset the suspension. I guess those Öhlins dampers pay for themselves somehow. This is a little bit of an old car, if I'm being honest, and it feels it. It's got hydraulic steering, which doesn't actually feel much like anything at all. The infotainment system feels about a half a decade old, even though it has a really nice LCD gauge cluster. But of course, it's a Volvo, which means it has super comfy seats that are heated, and so is that steering wheel. And that means no matter how cold it is outside, winter's not a problem. Hey boys, what's up? Warm, right? Corner. And we do the Scandinavian flick. Ooh. Come into the corner, under ABS, wrong way, right way. Flick it in and gas, 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 gas. Just maintain gas. Get that third gear wheel spin, gotta love that. Oh, it is a sweet sounding straight six, especially outside. The exhaust has a bypass valve, sounds really good. Got a little bit of an Aston Martin sound to it. I wish it sounded a little bit better in the car because it's kind of muted and not very violent. Then again, this straight six is being replaced with a Turbo 4 that won't sound good inside or outside. So I think we need to slow down and have a moment of silence for the dying Volvo straight six. One thing I won't miss about this car when the straight six goes away is its turning radius, because it's the size of a Boeing wide bodies and it's the engine's fault. See, packaging a straight six transversely is a nightmare. The engine starts all the way over here, goes almost entirely across the car, leaving no room for the transmission, so it has to make a 90-degree turn towards the back of the car. This takes up every inch between the two frame rails, and they're already pushed to the corners of the car. And that leaves very little room for the wheels to turn. Is that Adam Sandler in the bushes? Okay. Anyway, should you need an explanation on why we love wagons, it's because they lose nothing in performance compared to the sport sedans they're based on. And anything that can fit in a full-size truck like a Chevy Suburban can fit comfortably in a compact Volvo wagon.
Comfortably?
Yes, comfortably. My crew complains about everything. Anyway, if it doesn't fit in the wagon, it fits in the Thule rack, which is not actually part of Volvo's program, but is a mandatory aftermarket purchase, at least as far as I'm concerned. The performance station wagon. The car BMW would build if that company had any soul left. The car Americans would buy instead of SUVs if we actually cared about our environment. This is the kind of car we hope Volvo builds forever. Used to be that Volvo's fast turbo wagons were cool because they were unassuming boxes. This one is easily one of the best looking cars on the road. And while that may be a superficial data point, this wagon has the usability and the performance to back it all up. Those are universal benefits, whether you're in Sweden or not. Long live the hot Volvo wagon, or as the Swedes might say, Öhlins Polestar IKEA Volvo. In case you're wondering how we get these gorgeous shots, I hope you're right back there.